My name is seannarron, and I was born and raised in Japan. And now I work at a Japanese company, and there are a few things I want to talk about working in Japan in this video. So, in Japan, one of the most difficult challenges for foreigners is learning how to say no to your boss. Guys, let me share a quick story, right? So, a colleague of mine directly told his Japanese manager, "Sorry, I can't do this task." When he was tasked, right? So he thought he was being honest and fine and kind of good and all that. But in that moment, the atmosphere kind of turned cold. Okay, so everyone was kind of looking at this guy like, what is he doing? Okay, his boss stopped giving that guy important responsibilities. Trust was kind of damaged just from that one word, no. Okay. On the other hand, I once faced the same situation. So instead of saying no in this situation, I said, if I take this on now, another project might be delayed. Which would you prefer me to prioritize, right? And my boss thought for a moment and said, okay, yeah, focus on the first project because not only did I avoid overwork at this time, but my boss actually trusted me more, right? You see the difference here? So here's the question. How do you say no in Japan without hurting relationships or looking uncooperative? Okay, that's what I kind of want to cover today, right? And guys, if this is your first time here, my name is seannarron, and because I was born and raised in Japan, and I work at a Japanese company now on YouTube. I teach foreigners like you, so you can actually learn the language part and also the culture, the manners kind of part, so that you can actually start succeeding at your workplace. All right, so let's first talk about the pain points a lot of people struggle with. So, excuse me. Many foreigners in Japan feel that they can't refuse at all, right? So they just literally accept every single task that their boss gives them, right? And as a result, the work, they're working late nights, they experience burnout and sometimes fail to deliver. So when you take on a lot of things, more than your capacity, you fail to deliver because you cannot deliver. It's just impossible, right? And others try to refuse it directly, like the case that I was making about my friend, my coworker, but it always backfires, guys, damaging the relationship with their boss, right? So this creates kind of a cycle: stress, frustration, and always misunderstanding. Okay, so the main part of this video is the first thing I want to talk about. The solution I want to talk about is never give a direct no. Okay, so in Japan, direct refusals are very rare. Instead, you got to soften your language. So instead of saying like no, there are two things you can say. You can say 難しいかもしれません, which means like it's a little too hard for me right now. It might be a little too hard. Also like ちょっと検討させていただけますか? 検討させていただけますか? Which means, could you give me a minute to think about it, or could you give me a few minutes, kind of to sort everything out and think about it for a minute? These phrases leave room for discussion instead of just shutting down the request. All right. So, like I said, by saying these phrases, instead of shutting down your boss's task or the request itself, you're kind of opening up, kind of leaving room for discussion. Okay, so that's my main point. And another thing you can do is protecting the team first. Okay, this is kind of like how you kind of play it. Okay, so you can always try not to give a direct no. And also another thing you could do, we're moving on to the next step, is protecting the team first. So Japanese managers respect people who think about the team before themselves, right? So try this. If I take this on now, a project which we're working on right now might be delayed. Which one should I prioritize? This way you're not rejecting the task itself, you're just showing that you care about team success than your project, right? So your task. So in this case, you're thinking about the team's project, it might be delayed, right? You're mentioning that, and more than your job, your task. Okay, so this is a good point. And also, you can also use indirect but clear signals. For example, in Japanese communication, hints are powerful, right? Instead of being direct, you can give hints. For example, 検討します, I'll consider it. Often this is understood as being it's kind of a polite way of saying no. So if your boss gives you like a task, and if you say 検討します, it kind of gives the boss an idea of what you're trying to say. You're not directly saying no, but you're saying it's a little hard, but okay, I'll consider it. I'll get back to you like in a day, right? So that's what you can do too. Another thing you can do is propose alternatives. So instead of talking about this thing, you can talk about another thing. How do we do that? Always try to offer another option. For example, I may not be able to finish this week, but I sure can do it by next Monday, right? So if it's like Monday now and you can't do it this week, you can be like, I can't do it by this week. But if you give me like, Friday and then another Monday, so next week, by next week I can do it. That's like, instead of saying directly no directly, you're giving him or her the option, of next week. How's next week, right? Yeah. So those are kind of the main things that you could do. Instead of kind of like starting an argument by saying no or losing trust there. I talked about three things. First, don't say no directly. Second, protecting the team atmosphere, the team project first instead of you. And also using indirect signals like, using or also giving alternatives, right? So these are all things that you can do in this kind of situation. So in Japan, usually saying no is not really about rejection, right? It's about showing respect and kind of protecting that harmony part and still being honest, right? So if you can master this, your Japanese boss will not see you as a difficult person. They're going to see you as reliable and trustworthy, right? And also kind of a true team player. Instead of being obsessed about yourself, you're thinking how to contribute to the team. So your boss is going to think about, look at you, consider you as a team player, right? And if you found this video helpful, guys, check the link in the description below so you can apply for my coaching program, where after completion you'll have a lot of new vocabulary and you'll have learned a lot of business manners so that you can actually start succeeding at your Japanese workplace. No pressure, guys. If you think it's for you, just apply in the description below. Right, there's an application form below. Go there. Anyways, guys. Don't forget to subscribe and for more strategies on working successfully in Japan. Anyways, guys, thank you very much for letting me serve you on YouTube like this. It's always a pleasure to see all your comments, a lot of positive comments about how your situation is at work. I'm really happy that my videos are helping many people. So anyways, guys, if you're planning to move to Japan or if you're already here, and if you find this video helpful, please talk about it with friends and family. I believe that repetition is the key to learning, and I hope to see a lot of more happy faces in the future. So anyways, guys, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.